Hello everyone, welcome back dear students in Tanmay sir's class. Today Tanmay sir's English class, but better you say Tanmay sir's grammar class. Okay, so we know what is our agenda today because last day we did um, gap filling. No, gap filling was our concern, but what did we do instead? Gap filling was our concern, but we were busy with discussing this subject verb concord or subject verb agreement or subject verb accord. Because I tried to make it very much clear for all of you that unless and until we have a fair hold over this subject verb agreement and the basic ideas related to verb, basic ideas related to pronoun and their interchanging relationships, the establishment of the relationship, and also when unless we have an idea about tense, how it is formed and how are they used, they apply. So we started this last day onward. And last day, just let's have a brief recapitulation. What we did last day. So last day we started from the very scratch. We started from parts of speech. Then we moved on to noun, specification of pronoun. What does pro means in place of noun? The same thing. Then we chosen verb. So noun, pronoun, and verb. These are the three parts of speech we chosen particularly. Then we went on discussing about subject and predicate. We know all, still we started from the very scratch. So how subject works, what exactly forms predicate part, and in the predicate part we get object or complement. We got an idea that subject verb object is a pattern which is to be found, which is to be followed in every successful sentence construction. Then we went on with the idea of object. What is an object? Then with the help of some example, we made it clear. And in the same example, we made it clear that how it could be complement. Then got the idea of a complement. And yeah, this is for complement and object both. What it could have been object, what it could have been complement. Then we got to know that subject verb agreement falls under one particular grammatical item that is called syntax. So the syntactical representation of any sentence we knew about. Then went on to verbs, which is an action word. Then there we got the specification for principal verb and auxiliary verb, the basic classification, and how transitive intransitive is formed. Then which one is principal verb and what are the auxiliary verbs be, have, do, and what are its specifications. Then pronoun, what are the pronouns, singular and then plural. And this is where we ended last day, that I, we, you, they, these are supposed to be the plural house and this is definitely the singular house. But the problem is we cannot affirm it as a plural house, and the problem is being created by I and the singular use of you. Because I told you, let me remind you that it's not that in English grammar we always think about the appearance, but we always think about the functionality of any particular grammar. Like I, I is one person. When I say I am a teacher, so I is a singular person, Mr. Tanmoy Bhattacharjee. Now, you will think that I is a singular, then what the hell I is doing in the left side plural group? Because I function the similar way we, you, and they function. That's why there is an appearance versus reality, a clash. Okay, and that's why from the order of functionality, I is being put there in the plural group, not in the right side singular group. Okay, so this is where we left last. Now to hold the thread in today's class, let me tell you, today's part is tense. Gap filling is our ultimate goal. we will be heading towards gap filling. But what are the things that take to have a good idea on gap filling? So now, not subject verb agreement. Today, it's core tense. And what are the basic ideas we need to have to know about tenses? So last year where we kept that the pronouns at the left side and the right side auxiliary verbs. So here for you, one chart represented, and through it's a mind map. It's more of a mind map which I have created. Yeah, it's absolutely copyright free and it's not pirated at all, not from any book, not from anywhere. It's absolutely created from the mind just to reach your mind. Now you see at the left side you have some pronouns, some 7 pronouns you have. Okay, and the right side you have auxiliary verbs. So I made it very much clear that there are be verbs, there are have verbs, and there are do verbs. Now the question is, sometimes I find my students using I has, and sometimes I find there are some mature elderly people who use he have done this, he have done this. My God, really? No, actually, it's he has done this. But why this happens? We become at a certain point of time very much confident about our English, the construction of the sentence, framing of the grammar, everything. But that's not absolutely true. So I'll tell you. Now, I, we, you, they always categorize this part of pronouns at one go, and then he, she, it, another set of pronouns at the another go. So let's talk about I, we, you, they. And these are the auxiliary verbs that are coming under be. These are coming under have, and these are coming under do. Now, when it's I, we, you, they, so there is a line drawn, means this line indicates that all the things hinted are covering both I, we, you, they, all I, we, you, they. So with I, we always know that it's am. Hmm? So it's needless to say that with particularly I, we always use, with I, it's exclusively always am. I has a copyright for am. Okay, chalo. What about others? We, you, they. So in the present tense, you will get are, and in the past tense, the same line goes here. So in the past tense, it is where. So for I, so we, you, they, in the present it is are, and in the past it is where. Okay. Now for have verb, all these I, we, you, they are using have. I have, we have, you have, they have. Okay. Now in the do verb, I, we, you, they, all these 4 pronouns together use only do. I do, we do, you do, they do. Hmm? It's not they does. Sometimes we say, sometimes unconsciously we say also. Now another house, that is the core singular house, that is he, she, it. So with them, now you see all this line indicates that whatever is the use are common for he, she, and it. So this is where you find that in present tense it is for he is, she is, it is. And similarly in the past tense it is was, he was, she was, it was. And this is in the be verb. Now in the have verb, remember my dear students, it's always has. So this line goes to connect with has. He has, she has, it has. And in the past, the same thing, had. In the past, it is had. He had, she had, it had, though it is not drawn. Now, so he does, she does, it does. Fine. So be verb, have verb, and do verb. Now we are done with. And when I say that this line drawn, this actually shows that whatever this the length of this line holds I to it. It means whatever I'm trying to sketch carries for all of them. So here it is carried that all of them use had from the have verb in the past tense. All of them use did from the do verb in their past tense. Okay, so for the past we're coming from the backward, and only for this I, we, you, they, I made it clear that in the present it is are, in the past it is were. Similarly, for I am is the present, so was is the past. And you have two options. One is I have singular house, another is I have plural house. But dear students, let's have a trick. Let's remember any one side. The other side is automatically known to me. For example, don't look at any book, just look at me. Do, does, did. These are the three forms coming under do verb. Now, did, we all know, used for past tense. So in the present tense, it can be either do or does. No need to remember both do and does. Remember any one. Remember the does. Why? He, she, it. These three are the singular pronouns. These are the singular pronouns. And singular stands for S. Singular stands for, let me write it here. Singular. And this singular starts with S. Singular starts with S. And all of them are using was, has, and does. So, my dear students, let me show you a magic. Is it merely a coincidence that after all these, after all this has, excuse me, after all these S is common. This is a singular house, right? This is a purely singular house. And singular starts with S. And see, he has ending with S. He is ending with S. And he does ending with S. S means singular. So whenever at the end of an auxiliary verb you get S, an auxiliary verb that ends with S denotes singularity. So if you remember that does is singular, okay, fine, then only remains do, then do is plural. Clear? So this is a shortcut trick for you. Hope you understood this part. Let's move on. Let's move on with the idea of tense. Now, what if I just write here? Achha, I have a space here to, no, no space. Let me write here tense. Am I writing right? No, I don't think so. We have known so far as tense or tenses, but it's full when you say time and tense. Yeah, tense is all about time. One thing is time, another thing, see, time and tense of verbs. This is the complete diction. This is the complete statement when we use time and tense of verbs. We only use this tense, but this is time and tense of verbs. We all know there are present tense, there are past tense, there are future tense. I mean, there is present tense, past tense, future tense, and they all have four tenses. So indefinite, though you people know still, uh, and you all know it has simple or indefinite, then comes continuous, then comes perfect, then comes perfect continuous. Simple or indefinite, continuous, perfect, perfect continuous. So these are the four categories that all these belong to. They have something in common. All they have it. All they have it. Simple, also present, past, future. So this much do we all know. If I talk about simple tense, you understand, I believe. Let it be simple past, simple present, simple future. When it's continuous tense, you have a very brief, you have a very shortcut understanding. That is ing. So we know verb plus ing. This is a very common term for continuous tense. We all have this shortcut idea. How to recognize a continuous tense? Whenever you find verb plus ing, this is continuous tense. And whenever you find simple indefinite tense, it means whenever you see that sun rises in the east, or the example which I cited last day also, I eat rice. The present form of a verb is mentioned. It's very problematic are these two. That's why I'm trying to redden it. Perfect tense and perfect continuous tense. Definitely, I'm not going to discuss today the complexities, if any, for simple tense or continuous tense. Rather, I'm much interested today to discuss with you perfect and perfect continuous tense. Because if you want me to revise on your learning on simple tense and continuous tense, come to the offline class. We'll have a lot of discussion. Even through video lecture also, it can be possible. But for perfect and perfect continuous tense, we need to understand. Another thing, you know why we have a problem with tense? We think 12 tense. So, for example, I give you a sentence that I eat rice. Again, this most simple example ever. I eat rice. And in the bracket it is written that convert it into other tenses. Convert it into other tenses. Now you think, oh my god, I have to convert it into more 11. This becomes a problem when you think that you have to frame a complete sentence. But now you see how foolish we had been so far. Let me write. I dash rice. Again, I dash rice. Again, I dash rice. Again, I dash rice. Again, I dash rice. So already 5 times I have written. Some more 6 times I can also write. The similar thing. Why I have written this one? Because this is your subject, this is your object or complement, whatever. This is your subject, this is your object. So these two will remain all the same for all the sentences. So whenever you have to translate into some other tenses one particular sentence, why don't you write all this I dash rice, 11 times you write. Now you see your half job is done. Even more than half job is done. Because your sentence is already written I rice. Only you have to fill in the middle portion. And in the middle portion, what remains? Last day I taught you SVO, subject, verb, object. So verb is in the present, it stays in the middle. That's why I said That's why I said that time and tense of verbs. Hope you understand what I meant. Time and tense of verbs. Tense is all about what happened, not what happened, when happened. Time. Tense is all about time, and the expression is verb. Through verbs, tense gets expressed. The tense gets expressed by means of time. Okay. So only you have to insert sometimes simple, sometimes continuous, sometimes perfect continuous. Only in the middle you have to fill in the blanks. This fill in the blanks will be of immense importance. You know why? Because all we are learning this for the sake of this fill in the blanks only. Choose the correct verb form or choose the correct options to fill in the blanks to complete the paragraph. This is how your gap filling will come with some options where you have to choose the right option. Changed, has changed, is changing, had changed. Which one is right? And based on your discretion, you have to opt the right option. Okay, I hope I could make myself clear. Now, remove your fear from writing the full sentence. Your sentence is half written by you only. Okay, come on, let's move on. So I told you that I will deal with the perfect tense and perfect continuous, not present perfect continuous, but past perfect continuous. In the present perfect tense, what happens? There are many bookish definitions, rules, some exceptions are there. I have chosen out only three to show you in a very diagrammatical manner. In a very diagrammatical manner, I have tried to show you, and please try to understand what I meant. The present perfect tense. Now, to indicate that an action has been completed, finished, or done just now means near the present time, or a little time back means in the immediate past. For example, I have finished the painting just now. Grandmother has just written a letter. So here, the word that indicates your perfect tense is sometimes have, sometimes has, sometimes have, some, sometimes have, sometimes has. Okay, see, now follow this diagram. Here, your past time and the time when it moves on to from past to the present. The action finished a little time back. Action finished a little time back, and the time moves on here. So as per the first rule, it is established. Move on to the second rule. To indicate that the action has taken place sometime in the past, it may be long time back, but the action so completed has its effect in the present time. Present perfect tense. So Ajay has eaten all the biscuits, or I have done my work in the bracket. So I'm free now. I have done my work. Now here in this diagram, see it properly. There is a past time, there is a present time. So everything that is moving on to present and moreover, that is from past to present. This is the time flow. And here in the past tense, the action is finished. And now it's moving on to the present, but it has its effect in the present time. Its effect in the present time. I have done my work. It is the action done. Action finished. So I'm free now. It means it has its effect in the present time. Okay. Now, number three. Number three is all about to indicate that the action began at some time in the past but is continuing up to the present time of speaking. He has lived here for 10 years. In the bracket, it means he still lives here. We have known each other for 10 years. Means we still know each other. So here you see the past time, present time, and the time moves on. Here, action began in the past and still continuing in the present. Okay, through this we can understand. So we have known each other for 10 years. For example, This shapes this part, whereas we still know each other. This shapes this part, indicates that still continuing in the present. Still continuing in the present. Okay? Chalo. Now, past perfect tense. So after present perfect tense, past perfect tense. Again, where you get bothered basically. Past perfect tense. The use of had. Now, we need to understand here that what does past perfect means. Remember always that past perfect means past of the past. Two events are there. When you are talking about the second event that occurred in the past, then you use the term had. That is the earlier of two past actions. The earlier of the two past actions. Now, to indicate that an action was completed at some point in the past time before another action commenced or took place. The earlier of the two past actions. Two past actions. I went to my house. I started doing maths. So I went to my house is the earlier action. When we talk about that, then had to be used. This is the perfect tense, past perfect tense. For the example, you see, when I reached the station, the train had left. So I reached the station and the train had left. So the train left first, then I reached the station. So we mean the earlier option. That's why what happened first? The train had left. That's why we are using had here, not when I had reached the station. When I reached the station, the train had left. Okay? When there are two past actions, the first action, I mean seriality, maintaining seriality, the first action will have the simple present, just reached, and the second one, that is actually the earlier one, will use had. Now here in the diagram you see, in the past time and the present time's conflict, so time is moving on and the train had left, that is the past, and I reached the station. So these are the two actions of the past, out of which for this we are using had, because this happened earlier. Now the past perfect continuous tense. Past perfect continuous tense. In the past perfect continuous tense, it is used to describe an action which began in the past and continued up to a certain point of time in the past. It's all about past, nothing to do with the present, and no any sign is also left in the present. For example, they had been playing in the park for 3 hours before I called them. So the called is also a past, and had been playing is also past action. So they had been playing in the park, a past action which was continued for a certain time. And here in the diagram also you see that the past time and the present time. So it started teaching, 5 years, was teaching, he had been teaching, when visited. Try to see and understand what I meant to write here. In the past time, what happened? After concerning over this perfect tense, I have another thing to say to all of you, that to successfully accomplish the fill in the blanks part, it is the gap filling, we need to know another thing. The another thing is conjugation of the verbs. It's very important for the simple tense. It's very important for the simple tense. Now, what is very important for the simple tense? Now, what is conjugation of verbs? Actually, these are the irregular verbs. A verb is regular also, irregular also. When a verb, at the end of a verb, only D or ED is put to use its past or past participle, then it is, shall I draw it? Achha, let me just draw it once. So another facet of verb, where you get verb with its two types or two classifications. Transitive intransitive was another classification. Regular irregular is another classification. Then finite verb non-finite verb is another classification. There are some primary, auxiliary, another classification. Hmm? Whenever it's required. So one is a regular verb and another is an irregular verb. Irregular verb. Now, what are the regular verbs? The regular verbs are those, for example, play. Now you write played. So what did you do actually? You put the extra ed. Sometimes d or ed you add to mean all these three parts: play, played, played. So the present, with this present only ed is added and made the past and the past perfect. Sorry, past participle. The first form of verb, second form of verb, third form of verb. But irregular verbs are those which basically are of these which I wrote here. Irregular verbs are actually this structure which I hinted here, conjugation of few verbs. And whenever the present, past and the past participle forms are different from each other with its most commonality, then it's the irregular verbs. And that's why it's called irregular, not regular, not predictable, but unpredictable. And this formation is grammatically recognized as conjugation. I'm not going deep inside the conjugation, or else I have to bring into force the voice, mood, and certain other indicators, which I will do later with you all. So conjugation of a few verbs here, you need to know. Certain words I have just made a use of for your understanding, just like become, became, become, fall, fail, fallen, eat, ate, eaten. There are at least 500 plus words with this conjugation. If not 500, at least most common 100 to 120 words you need to know, dear students. Otherwise, it will be difficult for you to choose the right verb from the bracket. In the bracket, it will be written only fall. But in the fill in the blanks, you have to write the appropriate form. See here, choose the correct verb form. So here, I dash working all afternoon. So now, not this one, not this one. Here, information technology dash change. So in the bracket only the root verb is provided. Now it will be change or is changing or changed. How will you make it? So you need to know that change, changed, changed. Change is a regular verb here. So its form is only with D, nothing else. Okay, if you didn't know, then how would you answer? So only for your benefit, I just tried to make it. And if you don't have this list of irregular verbs, then you can comment in the classroom, or else you can directly communicate with me via WhatsApp, or else after a few days you are coming to school, then you can tell me. I'll provide you so that it becomes easier for you to understand the forms, and you can attempt whatever questions come from your gap filling. Okay, dear students, so this much for today. If possible, I'll hold another class after a week. This week, you please cultivate this one even for the next week. Then, if possible, next to next week, I'll again come back with tenses. I'll do the revision, and then we will do these exercises, which was already in my pipeline. See, many I have jotted down, but today time doesn't permit, and I don't want to eat up your head. So this much for today. Thank you everyone for being here. Thanks for your support and cooperation. Thanks for your patience. Till then we meet again. Stay well, stay warm.